overjoyed by the news that Mo Salah has signed that long-awaited contract extension. Liverpool fans descend upon Anfield once again Sunday afternoon. This afternoon will West Ham rock up for the next Premier League fixture. Both the league-leading Reds and bottom half West Ham are out to make swift returns to winning ways after Liverpool lost 3-2 against Fulham last time out, and West Ham, of course, drew 2 each against Bournemouth in game week 31. From more out than in to more in than out of Liverpool, as the Liverpool social media team highlighted in a quite over-the-top, exaggerated tweet that came out in the week, ending months and months and months of speculation with Salah agreeing a new 2-year contract, has only but given them a massive boost. He's won 8 major trophies at Liverpool, and it's looking likely that he's going to be entering into the world of his 9th major title when they win potentially the Premier League title. But will West Ham put a little bit of the brakes on to that time out? As Liverpool edge even closer to another medal, West Ham can edge even closer to mathematical survival. We're not surviving yet, but mathematically we should be getting closer. Now, despite failing to win in our last 4 matches in the Premier League, following a 4-goal spectacle at Bournemouth, you could say, Fulkrug and Bowen, who cancel out Evan Nelson's opener for Bournemouth at the London Stadium, but he had the final say again with his 4th goal 11 minutes from time with the game's 4th goal, I should say, with 11 minutes from time, denying West Ham our first top-flight victory since late February. Yes, you have heard me right. But we know Southampton are already down mathematically, and Leicester and Ipswich are, of course, struggling. Potter's 16th place West Ham sit 15 points clear of the drop zone. Can realistically start preparing ourselves for another year in the Premier League, but it's not mathematically proven yet. Now, we've already spoken about some of the team news coming out of Liverpool. What we do know about West Ham is that Graham Potter himself spoke about Fulkrug and potential for having fatigue. Now, he did train with the team on Friday, therefore it's expected to be fit, but I wonder if he is going to be playing this game considering there was that element of fatigue in him. So I'm here to give you my predicted starting lineup for the game against Liverpool as we travel to Anfield. So first up, there's no point in beating about the bush here. We all know the goalkeeper, Areola. He stays in goal. I'm not going to spend too much time addressing the goalkeeper situation, but let me talk to you about Kilman, who I think when it comes to our centre-back pairing, I think we know personally on paper who the best 2 are, and I think that needs to be Kilman, and that needs to be Todibo, his partner, alongside him. Now, Creswell's been in and out of the team, but he has recently has been injured, so I think that would have potentially scuppered, because he is injured, scuppered us playing that kind of back 3. I don't think we can afford to play Konstantinos Mavropanos in a back 5. I do think we need to go for the flat back 4. However, that back 4 can adjust where necessary, and alongside Todibo, of course, will be Wan-Bissaka, in my opinion, summer signing for the number 1 summer signing for West Ham. I think Emerson Palmieri comes back in at left back. I think we need that experienced head. See how he gets on, and should Scarles be available later on in the game, depending on the result, then he will step in. Now, I think that kind of addresses itself. You may agree, you may disagree on what I have said there with the 5 players starting in the West Ham start 11 for me. But as we get into the midfield, this is where it gets really interesting, because we are slow and this is going to be really tough, but we do know we ain't going to go fully at them. We're going to need to protect somehow. And I'm not in agreement that we always have to protect, but I think this is what the team will look like. I think we're going to start with Ward-Prowse. He seems to be a Potter favourite. We do know he can create something from nothing, and I think he would be desperately wanting to get on the score sheet again for West Ham, let alone the fact he hasn't scored a set piece for us yet. But I think he can create some piece of magic. He can take all the set pieces, and that becomes vital. This is where it gets a little bit interesting because I would play Alvarez as much as I don't think he is the answer for our midfield problems. I do think he's got the legs and the energy to drive that passion in the midfield. And I think that is the two that I would have kind of sitting. I think Ward-Prowse will be pushing forward as we expect, but allowing Alvarez to sit in alongside and try and protect those back four there. Where I think people may say to me, why are you playing Souček? On paper, those three players are some of the slowest players. But the problem and the thing is you have with Souček is he ain't not going to play. And he is going to play, but I think we need him in a bit of a more forward role. I think what you've got with those three players is the intertwining with each other. One can push forward where one drops, two can push forward where one drops, and I think you'll always have that. But we all know that Souček has been a mainstay in this team and will continue to be a mainstay in this team. Now, let's just it gets really interesting from this moment onwards because we're talking about will Füllkrug play or not. I'm going to make the guess that he's not going to start the game, but we may see him as an impact sub. So I've put Paquetá out on the right, but in actual fact, in theory, he could be out on the left. I think he probably would start out on the left because that means then Kudus will be on the flip side for him. And I think the reason why I've necessarily not put them both on the left and the right is because I think you'll see an interchange between the two players throughout the game, again, leaving Bowen to lead the line for West Ham. Now, that is my predicted 11 against Liverpool. I think that if Creswell was fit, we would have the strength to be able to go with five at the back and try and protect that kind of back line and allowing the wing backs to drive forward. But I don't think we're going to have Creswell. We know that Creswell's not going to be fit. Therefore, I think we need to go back to the solid back four. And with all due respect to Konstantinos Mavropanos, we cannot afford to have him starting this game in that back five. So Todibo, Kilman, Emerson, Wan-Bissaka in the back four, Ward-Prowse, Alvarez and Souček protecting. I think a bit of a mixing up between those three players. Paquetá and Kudus switching where necessary with Bowen straight through. And again, like I said, with those forward three, you can see a lot of switch play going on between them. I mean, here's the alternative team. That's with Füllkrug starting. I'd have Bowen back out on the right or the left again with Kudus there and Paquetá playing through the middle. And with that forward four, you see a lot of changes intermitting between the four players. But essentially, I do think the team will be something along these lines. Here, you've got legs, you've not got pace, but you've got legs and you've got energy in the middle of the park and a lot of protection, but also some element of creativity. And my concern about this team is it's not enough creativity. That's why on paper I would prefer this because we would have the centralised focus of Füllkrug. You'd have Paquetá creating from back deep. You'd have Bowen and Kudus, and you could switch out one of Alvarez or Ward-Prowse for Souček where necessary. But at least one or two of them can sit and allowing the four players to progress forwards. You've got the centre force, number 9 up top. Well, he's number 11, of course. But that does bring my choices there. So there's the two alternative 11s. So you let me know in the comments what your thoughts are from what I've said. Hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. Please leave a comment and let me know your thoughts. And of course, join DJ Russie B. He'll be giving you the match day live running commentary. Take it easy. And of course, come on, you